Hi everyone, this is Cherry Enchantress. I'm here with another life-changing book from the Life-Changing Book series. So I can't forget the actual Bible. I had 9 years of Catholic schooling from kindergarten through 8th grade in elementary, and then 1 year of high school, 9th grade. And this was my 9th grade high school religion Bible book. So before Linda Goodman's Love Sign became my book at my Bible at what school I go to the Performing and Visual Arts School, High School Performing and Visual Arts. Before that, I was at Incarnate Word Academy, all-girls school, and this was my Bible. And so you can see highlighted, so on. I think overall, all the years that growing up a Catholic, I've probably read the Bible about 5 times overall. So I know the stories pretty well, but more in a general sense. I'm not good at quoting things like some people are. I love Song of Solomon and the Psalms. There's a lot of beauty, a lot of amazing symbology, parables, stories in the Bible, but there is definitely a significant lack in portraying the power of the divine feminine. And I believe this has a lot to do with the multiple interpretations over the years. So Linda Goodman suggests, she, researched it quite a bit, and she was saying even before King James, one of the very original early writings of the Bible, they referred to the Creator in Genesis as a multi-being type thing, a multi, not male or female, or an it, or even a they, but it was just sort of like this multi-being. So, it's interesting, even that one small word that can have such a profound difference in meaning. Imagine the whole Bible, of all these different stories and stuff. And not just that, not just, something lost in translation, but a lot of things were purposely changed because of man's influence, their agendas, what they felt needed to be known or read about or seen. So when the Da Vinci Code came out, I'm pretty sure I read the book first before I saw the movie. And I remember, because when I saw the movie, I was like, hey, wait a minute, that girl's supposed to be a redhead. And redhead like this, like a flaming redhead with long red hair, who is the beloved. She's the one that the knights, the minstrels sing about. The traveling minstrels would sing about her so no one would forget her. And the reason why in the Da Vinci Code, the lady that helps the Tom Hanks character is a redhead, is it's supposed to be kind of a quirky thing that she might be an ancestor. And so the premise is, if you haven't already seen it, spoiler alert, the premise is that Jesus had a partner. I don't know if he was actually married or intended to marry her, but he did get her pregnant, and then they had a line from them. And so I'm not sure if this comes out in the Da Vinci Codes or I think it does come out in these other books. Okay, so after reading the Da Vinci Code, and I watched the movie, then at the end of the movie, and I do this occasionally, but not all the time, I looked at the behind the scenes stuff, like interviews with people and, I wanted to watch it because it had to do with art. So they depicted a lot of this, the Mary in art. Like, this comes up a lot in the stained glass windows. You'll see this union a lot. You'll see her pregnant, and all over France and different parts of Europe, you'll see this kind of union, and where did this come from? So this is like a little sign right there. So at the end of the movie Da Vinci Code, when they were doing these explanations about artwork and the masculine and the feminine, this lady who wrote this book, Margaret Starbird, she gave a little talk, and her talk was real interesting because she was talking about she talked about this book, The Woman with the Alabaster Jar. And what it means is the alabaster jar had oils in it, and this oil is a special anointing oil. And people in those times didn't anoint someone with their oil unless it was like a very symbolic reason. It wasn't just a haphazard reason. So it's been a while since I read this book, so I can't remember all the details of it. But in general, that's what this is about. And then in Dan Brown's, they talked about Sang Graal, the royal blood or Holy Grail. So Sang Graal could be split up into those two kinds of words, either royal blood or Holy Grail. So anyway, so Margaret Starbird talks about how, like in mythology and any supernatural human, like what Jesus was, who did things that nobody else could do, all the other gods that preceded him all had a partner. Every single one of them had a feminine to their masculine. Jesus is the only one that was depicted as not having a feminine. The feminine that we used as a symbol was his mother, Mary, who's supposed to be a virgin, so we took away her sex, desexualized her, and we made her the mother, but didn't talk about a partner. So it's kind of weird that all happened, but I think it had to do with the way it was written at the time and the message that the people who wrote the Bible wanted to come out. So this all really intrigued me. It was like a big mystery I wanted to unravel. And that, I don't know if it exactly changed my life, but it certainly changed a lot in my outlook on religion and my Catholic religion and all religions in general. And it changed my outlook on the Bible a little bit too. And anyway, the woman with the alabaster jar, she goes into that about partners, divine male and female throughout history and mythology and all the ones that are cited. And let's see, what else does she talk about? The Holy Grail. So that got me interested in books about the Holy Grail. So I started reading books about Guinevere and King Arthur and those legends and the Holy Grail, and trying to find out what the Holy Grail was. Well, everybody then believed the Holy Grail was just a chalice, a cup or something. But trying to read and discover the Holy Grail on my own through books, I realized that what happened back then during those times of King Arthur times and those legends of Guinevere and Sir Lancelot and all these people, during this time there's a lot of magic. It was a very pagan time, and it was a very magical time. And the books I read, they were just all very, had a lot of magic entwined in them. And there was this sort of struggle between the pagan and the Christianity. And I can see where Christianity took over and wanted to be dominant and wanted to squash these other beliefs, and by doing so squash the feminine, really, because the feminine had a lot of power through the pagan belief system because it was so connected to the spirit and to the earth and everything. So yeah, all that kind of led on to other tangents too. Anyway, another tangent is this one. So another book by Margaret Starbird is this one, Mary Magdalene, Bride in Exile. I cannot remember any details about this except that, and I checked this one out from the library. So I don't have do you think I bought maybe I didn't. I think I've checked both of these out at the library. I probably even checked out DaVinci Code at the library. So so this one, I remember at the very back of this book, there was a CD. And so one day driving, I stuck the CD in just to listen to, and it was the CD of this book really that blew my mind, because it had another talk about numbers, numerology in the Bible, and the way things are added up, and divine numbers, and how all of this number system is connected, and it's like this major code out there for us to unravel and discover. And it was a little bit over my head, but it was fascinating. I liked listening to this while I was driving, and I wish I still had it, but I do not have this CD. So all of this kind of like leads to the next phase of this believing in the divine masculine and the divine feminine, this kind of power that we have between each other, and it's a power between each other and a connection with God, just like the Lover's card. So yeah, if you look at this, you'll see the Lovers, there's the male and female, and then there's the angel, the spirit, the divine that keeps them together. Same as this card in the Angel Answers. There's that spirit. You can see the male and the female, but there's a spirit that unites them. And so, for Jesus not to have his counterpart would be kind of strange. And for us to be all children of God makes sense that we come from their union. Anyway, so I don't know which of these books I would call the next one that changed things for me, but probably DaVinci Code with all the, because that starts to get off on, that is a mystery that made me want to explore some more. And that's what great books do. One mystery turns into another, and it makes you explore and opens your mind and broadens your horizons. So whether you believe in it or not, it never hurts to explore and try to discover and uncover things, and then weigh it against your own heart, and whatever you feel rings true to you, then that is true. So my connection with the spirit and the universe and God and all things divine and celestial, a little bit different now than when I grew up as a young child, but I'm happy the way I've developed. So anyway, hopefully your exploration of these kinds of subject matters will help open and broaden your horizons too. So faith, trust, and pixie dust.